Now to an Eyewitness News investigation. This country has a sacred duty to protect our military veterans, but the woman you're about to meet has been failed twice. First by the military after she was raped, and now by the Veterans Administration. Giovanna Lara has the story of this female veteran who went to the VA for help, only to be sexually abused by her own social worker therapist.
How long have you been here? 4 weeks.
Jackie Baum, Army veteran, raped while in the military years ago, is at her lowest point in this video captured by a Veterans Outreach volunteer in 2015.
What can you do to get you off the street today if you want to get up?
Homeless and living under this bridge steps away from the West Los Angeles VA, she's suffering from PTSD, addicted to pain pills and heroin.
I just assumed I was going to die that way.
If we come and walk you through this tomorrow, will you go with us? Yes.
Jackie, who is bipolar, did get help at the West LA VA, housing and counseling for military sexual trauma and her addictions. She entered a veterans court diversion program to clear up some misdemeanor tickets. But after she relapsed a second time in May of 2016, Jackie was kicked out of VA housing. Soon after, Jackie says a female licensed clinical social worker at the VA, who was also her psychotherapist for several months, told Jackie she was sexually attracted to her.
When she made the offer of sex, I thought if I turned it down and offended her, she could make an unfavorable report to the court, and I'd go to jail.
The social worker found Jackie new off-site VA housing and was Jackie's liaison to the courts during their 3-month sexual relationship.
Manipulating me based on my legal case.
At the same time, Jackie says she and the social worker were meeting several times a week for sex, including once at an office on the VA campus. She says they smoked pot together, drank beer, and exchanged hundreds of text messages, emails, and voicemails that Jackie provided to Eyewitness News. We're not naming the social worker, and we've altered her voice because she has not been charged with a crime.
Call me and let me know if we can meet up just so I can give you a hug and a kiss. I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
Jackie, who is considered 100% disabled by the VA, due in part to PTSD from her rape, says she was on 5 different psychiatric drugs at the time and believed in the beginning their relationship was consensual.
I mean, I did care about her because she had been the one person who came into my life and helped me put it back together.
Dr. Michael Carome of the nonprofit watchdog group Public Citizen says that's no excuse.
Absolutely not. When you have a healthcare provider-patient relationship like this, in which the power is significantly tilted towards the healthcare professional, this type of sexual relationship could never even be considered consensual. It represented sexual abuse. It's unacceptable.
Texts and emails depict a tumultuous relationship. At one point, when Jackie says they thought they'd been caught by a VA supervisor, Jackie, do not say one word. Delete everything on that VA cell. The social worker, I deserve everything I get. I wish I could die without having to do it myself. Jackie, I don't want to have sex with you anymore.
She's extremely angry and confused. Like, how did this go so wrong?
Jackie ultimately reports the social worker to the VA in August of 2016. The VA investigation, quote, substantiates all allegations of misconduct and calls it profound patient abuse in the form of emotional and physical sexual exploitation. According to the VA's investigative report, the social worker admitted to a personal relationship but denied it was sexual. The VA's investigation also substantiates Jackie's allegation that a second VA social worker knew about their sexual relationship, failed to report it to the VA, and even recommended a sex club to the pair. The VA report concludes that second social worker likely indirectly participated in the sexual exploitation of the patient and lied about it under oath. Despite the VA's own conclusions in that damning report, the social worker was allowed to work another 4 months, although away from patient care. It was only after Jackie filed a lawsuit against the VA and reported the social worker to the VA's independent watchdog that officials moved to terminate her. But the VA admits to Eyewitness News, instead of being fired, the social worker was allowed to resign. And here's what Jackie says she finds most infuriating. Despite finding the social worker's conduct to be, quote, the most egregious form of intentional psychological and physical sexual exploitation of a patient, the VA admits some errors were initially made that resulted in their failure to officially report the social worker for more than a year to state regulators who license social workers. She is still a licensed clinical social worker, although the licensing board is now investigating.
The Army did fail me in 1989. They failed to protect me then. And fast forward 28 years later, and here this happens at the VA, and they don't care to protect me this time either.
Jackie is not alone. A government watchdog found a pattern in a recent audit of 5 unidentified VA medical centers that failed to report 90% of potentially dangerous VA medical providers to a national database meant to protect patients, and did not report any of them to the state licensing boards.
To try to hide this information, to cover it up, to not report it to appropriate authorities, that is just failing their duty, their ethical duty, to protect future patients.
The VA has vowed to overhaul its reporting practices on problematic VA healthcare providers. Lawmakers are pushing for new oversight. One accused the VA of a deliberate cover-up to conceal poor medical care for veterans.
You know what I think? I think you're all protecting your butts. That's what I think's happening. This mismanagement is breathtaking.
The VA declined our repeated requests for an on-camera interview, but in a statement to Eyewitness News, they say they took immediate investigative action and removed the employee from all patient care. They also say they have implemented processes to ensure future delays in reporting to state licensing boards are avoided. As for Jackie, she still wants answers from the VA.
So we're talking about patients' lives, and I think when you commit an offense at that level, like that was done with me, I don't think you should be able to get to do that a second time.
Giovanna Lotta, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
We should note the social worker declined our repeated requests for an interview, citing patient confidentiality.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Click the ABC7 logo to subscribe to our Eyewitness News YouTube channel.